Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Hello all, welcome to this March 13th through 15th edition of Show Business. We're all from our own homes and we're all locked in, ready to go. Hope you guys are too. I come to you as always as CP.
And still for the moment at least, Jaime and Fuego from the horror show and Infuegotainment.
And I am Lindsey of My Two Cents and Nonsense. And oh my god, guys, there's a video on my channel.
Hey, new content.
Hey. Hi, everyone. I'm Chauncey K. Robinson of the Twisted Woman CKR YouTube channel.
Yeah, and we've got you.
Damn right.
Chauncey's got chyrons too, so when she has something to say, we can go full screen now. So some of the old tricks from Show Business will return tonight because I didn't like. Well, you'll see. Just enjoy the show, guys. So last weekend, a lot of news dropped Thursday night, which I would no doubt think contributes to the lackluster performance. However, Onward came in first with 10.5 million. I Still Believe came in second with 9.5 million. Bloodshot, the Vin Diesel movie, came in third with 9.3 million. The Invisible Man hanging around in fourth with 6 million. And The Hunt in fifth with 5.3 million. So I asked you beforehand if any of you had seen The Hunt. Have any of you seen Bloodshot? Is a better question.
I saw
I tried today. And there was no option available, unfortunately. Closed movie theater in downtown Phoenix, so yeah. What are you
Poor
gonna do?
Vin Diesel. He's trying to get his own thing going and everybody shuts it down. All right, well, so Fuego, we saw the number 5 debuting film, The Hunt, which was delayed from forever ago, starring Betty Gilpin, which
Sure. I don't know who she is. I've never watched Glow.
Yeah, she was in Glow. She a lot of TV stuff she's been in. So it was weird. Yeah. Considering who else was in that movie, it's weird that she was the lead, but I digest. Fuego, what was your initial thoughts to The Hunt?
I really liked it. I was honestly shocked that this movie even was made because of how unapologetically offensive it is, as far as both, skewering both sides of the social and political spectrum and stuff like that, because they don't really paint either, despite the fact that it's liberal elites as the ones who are killing. They don't really make these, I don't know, this prey seem very just, adept or smart or anything like that, aside from her character. She is in fact our lead. I've seen some people say that they don't like the fact that, and not just UCP, some people haven't dug the fact that they do this kind of jumping from protagonists where you think one person is going to be it and they jump very quickly without spoiling stuff, But I honestly dug it. It left an aspect of unexpected, just kind of the movie kept me guessing for a little bit, and then it finds its way. And I dug her, especially having not seen her in anything, and I applauded the movie for doing what I was not expecting it to, which was being very offensive. And not that I loved it, it's not a terrific movie or anything, but when you see Dennis from Sunnydelphia playing who he is born to play as this piece of crap, he it just epitomizes in a lot of ways the vibe of the movie. It's a satire. It is not to be taken seriously, and that's where the media misconception happened with this film, was that they thought it was supposed to be a serious sort of like
black
thing,
humor,
and it's not in any fashion supposed to be taken seriously.
Yeah. So I would say it's Predators meets Battle Royale. Predators, not Predator or The Predator, but the one with Adrian Brody. Predators.
Yeah, the one Robert Rodriguez produced.
Yes. So the thing, real quick. I mean, you touched on it. There's a lot of stereotypes that they skate really close to the line and probably step over it once or twice with left-wing stereotypes and right-wing stereotypes, and you know, each side gets roasted its fair amount. I'm going to spoil the gist of the story. It's basically that.
No, do it.
Well, essentially, the story is that you shouldn't believe all the shit you hear on the internet, because it can get you in trouble putting your beliefs in something that you can't completely verify.
Yeah, and that actually carries into the finale of the film, as you and I both know, having seen it. So,
they're so speaking of Betty Gilpin, who's the lead, I enjoyed her. I dug her as a lead, and I bought her as a badass. I really did. My problem is she opens as a badass. We never find out like what makes her special. There's no sort of growth to her character. I mean, we have a little bit with people that we lose. We have a little bit of backstory on some people, and despair, you know, some insecurity with some other characters. But her character from Jump Street is, you know, a badass and knows what she's doing. She's smart. Like the gas station scene, it would, you know, why does she know so much? How is she so good at things? I mean, it's.
I felt like they justified it in the third act, though. I mean, specifically where she's talking with the guy, where she's like, "Oh, you're a, you know, oh goodness, what was it? Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to remember. Navy.
The soldier,
whatever.
So she's in the army.
Well, yeah, that's where it's tough to not like spoil stuff. It was like a Coast Guard guy who has been training some of these people, and she was just like, "Oh, I'm this," without you know, going into, you know, extensive details and stuff. And so
it's strange. Like why I compare it to something like Predators. It is, at least in that opening 15-20 minutes of Predators, you have these little moments with each person, and you know, you come to your own conclusion. Okay, these guys are all bad dudes, and
armed to the teeth too. They all have so many guns in Predators. Like, doesn't one of them land with a minigun?
Yeah, they all have weapons. And the badass subversion was Topher Grace being like a
Topher Grace.
He was like a bitchy little punk in that movie.
Foreman.
He was so good too, actually. Like, people don't talk about Topher Grace very much anymore, but he is very good in that movie.
What's he been in recently that you can talk about?
Yeah, that's a tough part, but I mean, he unfortunately failed the transition into, you know, theatrical stuff. He had the movie with Dennis Quaid, and then that one about the same time, and you know, just didn't really correlate. So,
Black Klansman.
Oh shit, that's right.
Thank you, Charles.
Damn,
I knew there was another movie. He's very good in that movie too. He's such
David Duke,
dorky little. Oh, he's so perfect. I love it. Like,
yeah. And I mean, probably Spike's most accessible film in like God knows how long. And I mean, Denzel Washington's kid is now officially like a thing, which is so cool to me, because Tenet, whatever we're calling it, I cannot wait for that film. So,
they better not delay that fucking thing.
Yeah, fingers firmly crossed, right?
Well, I mean, if it does get delayed, if it doesn't get delayed, it'll probably get released on VOD or something like that, because that seems to be what people are about to start doing.
I don't think that's Nolan, right? Wasn't he like avidly against that?
Yeah, that's Nolan.
Yeah,
Probably.
Nolan, Warner.
I think he missed out against like
Yeah, because
Netflix.
That's the kind of film, though, that needs to be seen on a big screen. If it's going to be IMAX, man, I mean, goddamn,
Fuego,
That's the theatrical experience that I say.
can you check your
sorry.
mic or your audio? It appears to just be like a staticky when you talk. It's not. You're okay. It's just some sort of interference when you speak.
Sorry, bud.
Well, yeah, I mean, we want to get it right.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's. Is there a loose wire, maybe? Because it genuinely sounds like there's just a little.
Well, so.
Oh wait, let me real quick. Let me finish my thoughts on the hunt. I think it's good. Thankfully for my uncle, I was able to see this in the comfort of not a movie theater. I think it's a better experience at home. Because a movie like this. You don't want to be in a crowd where you're laughing at certain things and people looking around. It's the same thing I said about Jojo Rabbit. There is stuff that I laughed at that I was like, oh my God, people are going to watch me. Like they're going to know I was the guy laughing at that shitty joke. But they go a little too hard, like with the jokes to everybody's expense. They just seem a little too edgelordy. So
Okay.
It's a little tacky, like okay, I know you're really doing this just to play into stereotypes, but they're pretty fair with it. Everybody gets their own. It just feels like it feels a little try hard with the political jokes, or not the political jokes.
So was there a message, or was the message that there is no message?
I would say the message is to be careful with what you what you throw all of your beliefs and convictions behind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
I mean, am I still sounding
You're
bad
good.
because I
You're
have
good.
a lot to say about the
You're
movie?
good.
But,
You're good. You're good.
No, this was one of those weird movies where I talked to a lot of my left-wing and right-wing friends, and they both hated it.
Really?
Absolutely despised it. Yeah, because of the fact that they were, mad about the fact that, they're killing rednecks, blah, 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 whatever, which was the initial concern about the film. And then a lot of my, Democrat friends, were, just like they are portraying our sect as these liberal elites and the fact that we're vindictive and vicious and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, I feel like the film is misunderstood in a way, because it's really about just social class and misrepresentation in a lot of ways, as opposed to making it really political. In a review with Cecil, I was like, this is a movie that's going to piss off so many people, and that's why I'm surprised that it was made. I was completely shocked, especially on a Universal Blumhouse dime. I could not believe it. And with big names like Emma Roberts, and I haven't watched Glow, but I know she is, I'm the actress offhand, but, she is very well regarded as well as Ethan Suplee. I mean, there's like a lot of people who are recognizable faces who are in this film.
Hold. So reset. Betty Gilpin, you were talking about you haven't seen Glow.
No, I haven't seen Glow.
Yeah,
but Ethan Suplee.
It's bad. It's pretty bad.
It's happening.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. It
Well,
sounds like you really want to talk about this movie too. We just can't hear you.
For everybody's sake, don't waste your voice, your breath on something that.
Because I have somebody else working my internet right now from home. That's all that I can really.
It's just strange because your video is fine. Maybe unplug the microphone.
I did already.
Because it's just attached to your voice.
I just did. Try again.
I'm so sorry, Fuego. You're a champ trying to get through this, though, man.
Are the levels high?
Another sound right there.
Is the level really high, Fuego? Oh, he doesn't hear me.
He can't hear us anymore. So one thing I just hearing you guys talk about this, did you ever see what was it? You're Next.
Yes. Yes.
And how, like, it subverts you, and it's this random girl who's just like the girlfriend who's there, but she's the hero, and she's is it like that
no,
at all?
it doesn't. No, it doesn't work in that.
Okay.
I mean, think battle royale. Think of Hunger Games, something like that.
Which kind of meeting their spiritual successor, or at least their originator, with the most dangerous game, right? Like,
the thing about it is, when you all you have to hear is about a third or a half of the dialogue, and you completely understand why they could not release this movie. A week after a shooting?
Yeah.
Essentially, everybody's getting blamed for everything, and it makes sense. Like, after seeing it, you're like, oh well, obviously this would have seemed a little insensitive,
right?
But
so Jason Blum isn't really subtle with his politics. Like, on Twitter and stuff like that, he does kind of call things out every now and again. So I guess, does it feel like he tackled these subjects as a because, hey, these are things I want to talk about, or hey, these are hot issue topics that'll get ticket sales?
I don't think it's either, to be honest with you. I think I think if your average Fox News viewer wants to watch a movie where liberals get theirs, they're going to be happy. If a liberal wants to see some right wing folks get theirs, they're going to be happy. It's just, in the process, the jokes and the stereotypes are just a little much.
I wonder if is it like turd sandwich giant douche South Park style, where it's like it doesn't, they both suck? Is that what the point of the movie is? Like, if there's no good
I think
answer,
it depends. It depends on how you go into the movie. Like I said, not watching it in public makes it a little bit easier to chuckle at some things, and it just feels like the third act it gets. Yeah,
I've heard there's some issues with the third act, that it's not as strong as the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm also I don't know reviews because I haven't. Seen it,
I
try to not to.
I don't hate on it. I think, if anything, Hollywood needs to be a little less sensitive, but not so far in this direction. So I if it brings it back towards the middle a little bit, okay. But Fuego, you good?
I don't know. You guys can tell me because the thing so bad. Oh shit.
Yeah, at this point, that's got to be the quarter of the mic would be my theory. I'm sorry, buddy.
I just changed the course.
Wait. Is your level high? Are you peaking?
Oh. How are you today, Chauncey? You haven't said anything in a while.
I'm just watching the saga of the hunt. I'm just trying to.
No, it's not peaking. It's hitting about mid-level. So it has to be a connection issue. Has to be something Wi-Fi related, I would say.
It's just so strange because your video is perfect. It's so
you're not choppy at
so
all.
backwards.
You're moving very smoothly.
I'm seeing like halfway right in the middle of the light. So
it's getting worse.
Yeah,
too,
it's actually I don't understand how that.
Maybe you can call in auto, maybe.
Yeah.
No, it has to be the fact that my girlfriend is working from home and taking half of the internet capacity right now.
What if you?
So that's exactly.
What if you turn your video off and just do audio? Because that'll cut your bandwidth in half there.
That's interesting. I'm not sure how to do that.
You just press the button.
Yeah, there's a camera button on Skype. In the middle of the white one?
Yeah, I know. I've seen your British do that before, right? Or maybe that just happened because.
Honestly, though, this is a great week for this to happen on, because we're gonna
my goodness. Sorry, guys.
Oh, dude, you're totally fine, man.
Yeah, she is working from home for another 40 minutes. So
That's cool. That's cool.
So we're on Skype. Did I do this?
Yeah, just hit.
Is it appearance audio? Calling.
So
Just
on the
just
left side, it would be like just down.
yeah. There's the hang up button. There's the camera, and then there's the microphone. The camera's in the middle. There's like 3 derpy buttons right at the bottom of the screen of the call. If you just hit the camera, you hit the mic. It's switch it. You hit the mic. Hit.
No. You turned off your mic. You gotta turn off your camera.
Man, sorry, I can't guess how I have this really Skype.
Fuck.
Are you good? Are you good? So here, give it a second. Maybe it'll. Like
I have fear it's not going to be better, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
it's
shit.
about the same.
It's pretty shit.
Yeah.
Can Skype? Can you call in on the phone? Maybe can people do that on Skype? I only know it for. But can people call in on phone on Skype?
That is an interesting thought.
Or can't you call him?
Yeah.
Or
Do you have
something?
Skype on your cell, Fuego?
I mean, I could download it. I haven't used it in a couple of years. If I'm going to hold up the process, guys, this is a weird world we're living in. So that's
It is.
yeah. I mean, more people are even at home probably using their proverbial connection as opposed to being out
That is a good
actually doing things in their lives. So
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. Actually, I wonder how. And I thought about that the other day.
Yeah,
like if
everybody's
everyone's
home.
at home just streaming Netflix, like is that going to slow
Yeah, it
everything
took a
down?
minute yesterday for us to get the Netflix on. I was like, everyone must be on here right now. A little bit of a delay.
Everyone's trying to get on my style and just watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Fuego, why don't you tap out for a little bit, and when the lady friend finishes up, see if we're going and just jump right back in.
I guess.
All right.
Sorry,
No,
guys.
don't be sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
dude, I'm
This
sorry,
this has to
man.
happen.
No. I'm honestly mad, but it's fine. So, all right.
All right. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Much love.
We love you, Fuego. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So, has anybody heard anything about Bloodshot? Do we have anything to talk about here?
Well, I
Don't you dare.
I'm sorry. I'm a bad person. I honestly, this whole week for me has just been, can I get shifts? Okay, let's. I can't get shifts. What else can I do right now?
Well, no, I meant like, has anybody heard anything about it? Like it.
Oh no one I know.
I'm
saw.
seeing a lot of advertisements for it still, but I don't know how that's gonna work now. That I think they might have scheduled those ads like before these shutdowns happened. They're definitely trying to get people to come see it, but I haven't heard a lot of buzz about it at all. Like the most, I mean, as we know, like the most has been, it's like the closures themselves, and people have been talking about The Hunt. That has been what's been the one thing that people have been discussing, but other than that, I think it's kind of, people are kind of forgetting about Bloodshot. So.
Yeah.
It has a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not pleasant. That's not very good.
No, it's not.
Oh, it stars Toby Kebbell.
Aw.
I love Toby Kebbell.
Now go watch it. Wait, there's
I
nowhere
might.
to.
He's so rarely on screen.
Well, he's done a lot of mocap work, so.
He has, yeah.
So there's that.
A lot of very good mocap work. He is a very talented actor.
Oh shit. So Fuego was our newsman.
Okay.
So here's what I'll do. Onward wins again, barely. Whatever. You're caught up. I still believe. Isn't that based on a musician?
I think so. I think it's a sequel to another movie about that same musician, I think.
Sequels? How do they make sequels to these things?
Well, the first one made a lot of money. Like it's
the kid from Riverdale.
Yeah.
How is that? Oh no.
Yeah. How many of those dog movies are there? I mean, Dog's Purpose and.
Oh wait, I was wrong. It's not a sequel. I'm sorry.
It's the true story of Christian music star Jeremy Camp and his journey of love and loss. So you know that means that girl's gonna die.
Sounds like you read that.
I read that part, but then my inference was that the girl's gonna probably die.
Oh, sure.
That's usually, he's got a guitar in his hand. They're looking like they're in love. One of them probably has some type of illness. That's usually how these kind of stories go.
Yeah.
I can't believe that second. Well, that makes sense in this time.
Well, yeah. It's weird during Lent, which is the 40 days between Ash Wednesday and Easter. These Christian movies come out at this time, and they do well. Like it's just really strange that I don't know. You need to get somebody whoever's in the Catholic Christian Church. That's they need to get their marketing into some major studios, because the word of mouth gets pretty far on these faith-based.
Well, they get a lot of attention because I think like a lot of church groups and stuff talk about them, and as they should. It's that they're in their niche. It's the niche movie. I just wish like more of them were more God's Not Dead 3 and less God's Not Dead 2. And I know that's not going to mean much to most people listening to
sequels.
This. But like there have been some decent faith films lately. Like Breakthrough really wasn't too bad. Okay. I love Noah. I know a lot of Christian people don't like. I love Noah. That's such an awesome movie to me. And Mother, does that count? Or is that like
with Jennifer Lawrence
counter programming? Yeah, I mean it's all about the Bible and stuff like that.
Is it?
Yeah. What's his name from Spectre is God. She's like Mother Earth, and like they're kids that come into the house, or Cain and Abel. Like one of them throws the ribbon. It's a Bible allegory.
Okay. So there's a bunch. The big news of the weekend was every stay home, state of emergency. Everybody's getting sick. So our entertainment venues have been. I mean, they've just about canceled everything. Sports, entertainment, restaurants. I didn't realize that it was that bad. The only closest thing I got is because when I went to get milk, Walmart is actually.
Went to get milk. It's such a 1920s. Hey guys, you go to the store to get milk. I'll be right back.
Well, I'm sorry. You churning it? You still have to go get it.
Maybe I am. You judging me?
Why is getting milk 1920s?
Almond milk lasts for months.
Oh,
there you go.
It's a good investment. I don't drink regular milk. Almond.
Shit. All right. Well.
I'm allergic to it.
Well, yeah. So my point was, I only found out that Walmart is closing a little bit later. A little bit earlier and opening a little bit later, and that was like I haven't. Me and society don't really get tangled up too much, so it's shocking to hear just what's going on here. And the first.
It's funny for me because like Friday, my restaurant's like, okay, so we're not putting sugars or salts on the tables anymore because kids like to play with those and they'll get their germs on them and other people. So we're just gonna have ketchup on the tables.
Man.
But then it was cut down to, okay, so no restaurant can have more than 50% occupancy. And that was Saturday.
How do you keep
and then
track
Sunday,
of that?
restaurants closed. It's just such a 3-day.
Yeah, over the course of the weekend, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mayor Garcetti, last night, it was like 9 p.m. our time here in LA, where he had the press conference saying that everything in LA City would be pretty much closed down, movie theaters included. Although I also, in that time, learned, probably like many people, that LA City and LA County are different places, and people in Beverly Hills could stay open if they chose to, in Santa Monica, because they have a different mayor.
Oh.
So
I need to transfer to the islands in Santa Monica or Beverly Hills then. Okay, I'll get on that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird time for a while, just dealing with stuff like that.
You guys
honestly.
with your legal pot too. I want to know like if there was long lines for that shit, because
that's still up and running pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, if people are going to be stuck at home, you got to keep yourself entertained.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think it's really interesting what we're seeing, that there's, I think like what we were saying, like there's an adaptation going on adapting going on where, what we saw with, The Hunt coming on streaming and others and whatnot, that, we're seeing that this may last. I mean, I think the latest press briefing from the occupant in the White House said that this may last from July or August, perhaps. Although then they said they would do a check-in every 2 weeks. So, I mean, it's going to be a thing where you can't keep pushing off all of these releases. They're going to have to figure out if, I think this is streaming services' time to shine in a way.
Yeah.
Where, we're going to see a lot of them debating the pros and cons of putting something on streaming as opposed to getting direct, ticket sales. I guess I wonder the money behind it with ticket sales versus streaming at this point.
Hold that thought. So we'll get into the VOD stuff. Stuff that was delayed that formally has been announced. No Time to Die. That was the news last week. Remember when November was a big deal? So I have the list of other films that apparently this is films that were produced, not in pre-production, whatever. These are movies that are at some stage of being done. The next thing was The Truth, which got pushed to a vague summer 2020 release date. Peter Rabbit 2, which was supposed to come out soon, got pushed back to August 7th. When I think of
such a loss.
I was just gonna say when I think of Easter movies, I think August 7th, specifically that day. Fast and Furious 9 got pushed all the way back to April of 21.
That might seem ridiculous, but that might be an extremely smart
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because if they push back to October and things are still horrible in October and they've got to push back a second time, that looks worse than just pushing back a year.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, and it just starts being like that. The narrative in front of it is just, they keep pushing it back. Like the whole thing with New Mutants. Like, it's just a whole thing of, more so than the plot line, people talk about the fact that this movie, clearly no one wants it to be released. Like, not the universe, not the people who made it.
All right, so and all of these are indefinite. They have no sort of hope. There's no end in sight, no anything. The Lovebirds, indefinite. Blue Story, indefinite. The Artist's Wife, indefinite. This one hurts me. A Quiet Place 2, which was supposed to come out like next week, indefinite. Mulan.
That was one of the first ones that got announced that really got me. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And here it comes. Mulan, again, indefinite. The New Mutants, again, indefinite. and Antlers. Antlers, which I think that's a horror movie, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Cool.
So all of this, and Chauncey, you covered. You scratched it here, but it does bring up a brilliant point, especially if, I don't know, if you had your own network, and you had something, you had a way to traverse this mess. I don't know why, because this weekend, Disney pushed up the digital release of Rise of Skywalker. That to me seems rather smart because, all right, people are going to be home this weekend, inch it up. It's ready, just get it out there. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why Disney, with their Disney Plus network, just Mulan and New Mutants, get them out there and I don't know, either raise the price or whatever, but it's got to be worth it to. I mean, this whole time, ever since Disney's been a bit of a monopoly, Warner Brothers has just been, clawing at the idea of doing VOD, and it's strange that here's an opportunity, as unfortunate as it is. Here's an opportunity for the industry to say, all right, well, let's see how possible this is.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna hum and haw for a second till I thought of something. Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, there's a few things I think. Like, one, I wonder about the. And someone could explain this to me, because isn't Netflix usually always in the red?
Yes,
right?
yes,
They
yes.
usually always end up in the red.
Yes.
That's what I see. And so I guess the question is, I do think that this is streaming and VOD's time to shine. Like, if you do VOD and people have to pay, I guess, but it's like a lower pay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, where's the money at, though? Like, even with Disney Plus, more so with Disney Plus too, I guess, because that would be included in something people already pay for, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So the question is, it's like, they're spending a lot of this money, especially on these blockbusters. Is the rate of is the return rate of revenue worth it to put it on streaming, or would it be more worth it just to kind of hope that people, if they push it back far enough, get the tickets to come get it? Because I know Netflix has a whole different kind of, money model than, than these, blockbuster type companies, for better or worse. Yes, it's very much to the public, but then they constantly are in the red, in terms of finances. Right. So I do think, streaming and VOD is the future in terms of understanding that more and more people don't want to go to the theaters because, like I was saying last week, how much it costs to go there for food and things like that. But I do wonder, in terms of some of these bigger movies they've already made, I think is that the smaller movies may go that route eventually, and maybe some of the smaller ones, but I think the ones that they've already paid so much money for, I think they want the bigger return of money. Like I had a press screening for Mulan coming up, and that, of course, is not happening. But it's kind of like they spent a lot of money. It's kind of like putting out streaming sounds benevolent, and yeah, people will like it, but they probably won't make a lot of that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with New Mutants, they could get away with just like slipping that onto Disney Plus and just be like, hey, look, gift for the world. But yeah, Mulan, I think someone somewhere is saying, no, you have to make money off of that. You have to wait to release that and for that to make its $1 billion.
Sorry, letting my cat out.
No, you're good.
That's out.
So you was that a euphemism?
On so many levels.
So they can track, like I know Netflix, whatever they can track things that you wouldn't even realize that they can be tracked. Like I think they said 13 million people watched The Irishman the first day it came out. I mean, you can do something, you could try something special if you're Disney, where you say, all right, we're going to do Milan this weekend only, but you have to be a subscriber. You can't take advantage of the free week shit. If you're a paying subscriber of Disney Plus, we have a special little window here of Mulan, and they can track that and see how many people signed up for it just for that purpose. But when it comes to like Quiet Place, I want to say that's Paramount, right? Yeah. What's stopping them? You marketed the movie. It was supposed to come out next week. You dumped so much money into plugging this movie. Why not? I mean, we're getting Invisible Man and The Hunt this Friday on VOD, and those are both Universal. I mean, your Paramount, the word's already out there for A Quiet Place. Just try it. I mean, the movie's done, so all you have left is to just throw it out there.
Well, I think for Paramount, they don't really have that much these days, do they? Like, they've got the Top Gun sequel coming out eventually. Mm-hmm. They've got Mission Impossible, but those are like, once every 4 years or so. It's entirely possible they need A Quiet Place too to make big money for them. And so again, like releasing on VOD just isn't an option because just how much money they stand to lose. I mean, there is the argument that they're going to lose so much money either way, it doesn't matter. But when it's your movie and it's your product and you're trying to keep your company afloat, it's a tough decision.
Well, what about if they price it at some sort of interesting tier? Like, what if they charged $35 to rent it as like, a premiere release? Like, all right, this is a movie that would normally be in theaters. Sorry, you can't pay the $15 or whatever the VOD price is. If you want to see something fresh and brand new, we need to recoup somehow. And some people, I mean, listen, it's a hell of an interesting what if to go down. Because, $35 for, it's on your one television, you're watching it. Who knows how many people are in that house?
Yeah, you have a watch
party.
Sure,
it still could be cheaper.
But, I mean, how many people are having house parties right now?
No, yeah, we don't want to encourage any of that.
No house parties. So then you'll have one household each paying the $35. I mean, I guess, or just sharing their. Okay, well, would they only be allowed to watch it one time, or when they rent it, would they need it for hours or something? Because someone could pay it and then like get into someone else's account, and then so and so uses someone else's account, and they still don't make.
I think
money.
Rentals are
that's very true.
Excuse me. I think rentals are 24 hours. So
yeah.
Listen, if you manage to share that for 24 hours, then I guess my point is it's worth a shot for somebody. You know, somebody needs to be guinea pig. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's why we're seeing things like The Hunt and Invisible Man, and what was the other one that are definitely going to get like some kind of VOD release here in the next week.
I knew the two. I don't know what the other one you're not referring.
Oh, Emma. That's what it was. Emma, period. Whatever that is. That's
is that with Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I reviewed for some weeks ago that I keep mentioning here. If you want to know how great that adaptation is, they can check out my review on Rotten.
Hey,
oh, yeah.
There you go.
But I mean, for some of them, like The Invisible Man and Emma, those have already been in the theater. So I mean, I think they've kind of. I think with The Hunt, it might be a thing. The reason why that's being released because maybe they don't think that's gonna do well.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, kind of
maybe they looked at it for the first weekend and realized, okay, either it didn't even get a chance to beat the other ones, so we could probably lick our wounds in terms of letting this out on VOD and then call it. You know, the whole narrative switch of saying all these people rented it on VOD. This must mean that The Hunt was a hit. So what would have been maybe a middle tier type movie or a complete flop, depending on how this was looking, suddenly turns into a hit movie because people have nothing better to do and they rent it on VOD. While others, like with Mulan and Quiet Place, I think those have a better chance of probably being, big hits. So maybe it's just kind of like they just still think people will wait for them. New Mutants, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, New Mutants. You just enough's enough. Get it out there.
I bet what happened is it's on a thumb drive somewhere, and someone lost that thumb drive, and they're like, "Oh no, coronavirus! No, we can't release it anymore. Oh God, no!"
By the time they release New Mutants, Maisie Williams is going to have a daughter that is older than she is in the movie. That's when we're going to see New Mutants.
Yeah, probably actually.
Yeah, so it's weird. Somebody's going to have to be the guinea pig here, and
well, I think that's what this is with Invisible Man.
But it's like Chauncey said, they've made their money.
Oh, that's right.
Right. The Hunt.
Right. I'm sorry.
The Hunt is an interesting case because it didn't do well. It came in 5th. It was a little over the edge with subject matter, so who knows what that's about.
But if people are captive audiences and suddenly they've gone through their last 3 Netflix series, they may honestly be like, oh, let me pay how much is it? Like $5.99 or something to watch this?
Is it $5.99? Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know.
It's got to be at least like $10, right?
It's probably 10. It's probably $9.
Yeah, or 15 or something. Yeah. So it's a really, if I was NATO, if I was the National Association of Theater Owners, I'd be shitting bricks right now because this is a time where the world can learn, hey, we don't need theaters anymore. Because there's really nothing locking us into having to watch things at the theater. I think theaters now are what drive-ins were 15 years ago. Like, oh yeah, let's do that thing that mom and dad used to do when they were dating and go out to watch a movie in that great big building. There's screens everywhere.
Yeah,
well, in the summer at least when it's hot, movie theaters. They're cool.
Air conditioning.
Yeah. I think it's the experience for the blockbuster films, though. Like when you have Fast and Furious, or you have like those big action movies, Hobbs and Shaw and stuff like that. People do like the Meg. Sure. I enjoy seeing a lot of those on the bigger screen. So I think that's why what we've seen in the last few years. I think we mentioned it like last week where we talked about the fact that a lot of these companies are becoming risk adverse when it comes to more indie type films. You know, you have some of the smaller ones like Focus Features and everything that did Emma period and stuff, but you know, the ones with the blockbusters, I think they don't want to. I mean, that's why we got so many of those Marvel movies, because they started making all that money.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, they started cranking it out, and most people who wanted to want more money for the indie couldn't get greenlit, because it was like they were doing it was like they knew it was guaranteed money with the superhero films and things like that. So I think and it still is. You know, people still go to, except for New Mutants, but people will still probably go to a lot of these other movies, you know. So I mean, why would they want to do it on streaming?
Hey, Fuego's in the chat. He says theaters, aside from a few releases, are exactly what CP just said. What, shitting bricks? Is that what you mean?
Well, if they shit enough, they'll make another theater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but that's why they've been wanting to crush Netflix. There's been this campaign against Netflix because it's led on this, you know, the idea of home entertainment not just being something like low budget TV films, you know. And you've had this campaign from the cinema CEOs and things like that who see the danger, who see the danger of that.
Lindsey, stop laughing. It's an association. It's NATO, National Association of Theater Owners.
It does sound more like
Isn't NATO also like a
NATO's a big It's really important.
But I was like, NATO shit.
Wow, they really care about movies. Yeah. No.
But yeah, there's been a whole campaign, you know, and I don't think that's just like coincidence that you see these pieces from like certain directors and stuff saying like they wouldn't want their thing going on Netflix, although then they turn around and put their stuff on Apple Plus and things of that nature. But like what you see is, you know, there's a concentrated effort by this grouping to hamper down on Netflix, and like you said, they're probably very worried. I
think it's more of a triangle, to be honest with you, because I know Netflix is kind of fighting a battle when it comes to against theaters, and I think theaters are right back at Netflix, but Warner, I think, is trying to take whoever is left on, because Warner wants, you know, they're pissed that Disney keeps getting so many damn screens at the theaters, and they're just trying to figure out an avenue where they can make a buck. And it's really interesting to see financially what happens, because without Disney releases and without theaters to house these releases, we could learn something very, very shocking and sobering to people in NATO.
I like how you're pronouncing it now.
I'm telling you, I went. Show West is the thing where they have it. I was at a couple of those things. It's just big wigs and it's not NATO. It's just
No, I know. It's just funny.
Yeah. Now I can't unthink of it. So.
So are you saying like the other companies like Warner Brothers things should look into more of the? I mean, I think they are doing that with their streaming service, although they probably won't be like the Warner. Isn't Warner Brothers doing like the Time Warner plus HBO? Isn't that them?
Yeah, it has
Warner
to.
Brothers?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
90% true.
I definitely agree that they're probably looking for different avenues with the fact that, you know, these NATO people are kind of in the pockets of the Mickey Mouse and stuff. So.
Well, they I think it was either a year or two ago, they tried getting out of the contract that says that studios must wait 80 days to put out their material on home media. And Warner really wanted out of that deal because, I mean, they have a point. There's a brand new Disney movie that's just chewing up. I mean, if you go to the theater and there's 10 screens, something made by Disney is on 5 of them. It's really kind of unfair.
It is. Monopoly.
Yeah. Oh, but it's Fox. No, but it's Disney.
Like that before, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Yeah.
And
I wonder if there's any theaters out there that's not intentionally just showing Disney movies, but is like unintentionally just showing Disney movies because it's like old Fox movies and like Onward right now.
Yeah.
That would be kind of a weird thing to see.
Yeah. Fox, Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Disney, Pixar. And what was it last year? 85% of the top 100 films were Disney.
Yep.
85% of the top 100 grossing films.
And what was so weird to me is that people's response to that was like, get on the winning team. And I'm like, do you not realize the mechanisms in which they become the 85%?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just because they make good movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a whole bunch of other dealings. And that's questionable.
Yeah.
You know, like with a lot of it.
Here, so I'm actually pulling up the top grossing movies for 2019 right now. So in the top 10, we have Avengers, Lion King, Toy Story, Frozen, Captain Marvel, Star Wars, Spider-Man counts as Disney, right?
Sony.
Okay, just for simplicity's sake, we'll say no. But then Aladdin. So that's 7 out of 10 of the highest grossing movies of 2019 were Disney.
What are you leaving out? Joker, that's Warner.
Yeah, Joker, Spider-Man, and It Chapter 2.
Warner. Yeah. Paramount. Paramount can't do shit.
It's not even. I don't even know where I guess. Wait, is Fast and the Furious? No, that's Universal. Is Paramount anywhere on this list? 32 with Rocket Man.
Oh.
Oh yeah, they did do Rocket Man.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they've got other ones too, but that's their
they'll
lowest.
be owned by
Their
Disney
closest.
before the year's over. Don't worry about it.
No.
Listen,
I do not want them to own
I don't like it either. Trust me. If I think of all the great action movies of my younger days, as a teenager, every action movie that I really enjoyed was made by Fox. And you think about it now, what does Fox look like after it's Disneyfied? Are we ever gonna get a
dirty word, Disneyfied?
Yeah, we're not gonna get a badass alien movie ever again. We're not gonna get.
I mean, we might. I guess it's still fairly. I mean, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. It's still fairly early on in the acquisition of Fox and Disney. They could let Fox, to some extent, have a decent amount of wiggle room to do their thing. We have to kind of wait and see. But yeah, it's most likely that they're all just going to be very Disneyfied.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I mean, listen, I'm open for something new. But when I think of action in the last 10 years, that's spoken to me. None of it has been John Wick. John Wick was kind of original.
Yes.
So
John Wick was good.
Mission Impossible. That's a franchise. I really liked Mission Impossible, Fallout, but John Wick is the other thing. I can't think of an action movie that's original or started its own thing recently, and I don't know, that it kind of sucks to me.
Does Mad Max Fury Road count?
That's part of a franchise.
Yeah, it's a...
Right, I guess that's true. It's such a departure, right? But you're right. Yeah, okay. Fair.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess there hasn't been a bit. I mean, John Wick has been the one.
Yeah.
And I guess anything The Rock has been in, but it's more so The Rock than his actual stuff.
So Fast 5.
Fast 5 on. Yeah, it's... I want to say Jurassic World, but that's not. That's the same thing as Mad Max. There's no prototypical action stuff going on for the movies. It's been taken over by superhero stuff.
I almost said Rogue One because it's so different than other stuff, but no, it's just getting those Death Star plans, so it's just swinging right into the territory of stuff we know comfortably.
And I think that's probably why we need, the idea of, I mean, that's why I've always been supportive or advocate for what Netflix has done, because of the fact that, they open up a space for people challenging the corporate kind of storytelling that we've gotten. When you go on Netflix, when you go on some of these streaming services, you see a little bit more original, content. It's not blockbusters necessarily, but we've seen some, things come out of the woodwork that probably would never have gotten into the room for a lot of the bigger films. Or the bigger ones. So, I mean, it's necessary because of the fact that you just have they're doing phase 4? Is this phase 4 of Marvel? Whatever. It's like phase 4. They have a whole slew coming out of that. And, it's all the same kind of stuff because of because of the fact that they're risk adverse. So they're going what they know people will come and pay and see. So what we're seeing, even though those make so much money, we're seeing, I think it's a detriment to the creative, nature for big blockbuster potential for movies that are a little bit more original to kind of take hold. I guess Knives Out, I mean, that wasn't action, but that was the original story. Although I saw it finally recently, I did not like it, but a lot of other people did.
Knives Out? Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
It kicked off the show. Get out of here.
It was lacking. I don't know. Maybe it was the hype. Maybe I had the bar raised so high because everyone had talked so well about it. And
that actually happened to my dad. It got really hyped up for him, and then he just couldn't take what's his name's accent seriously.
Daniel Craig.
Called it so good. Yeah, Daniel Craig's accent. He just I'm sorry.
I actually wanted to see more of Daniel.
You're
Craig.
gonna.
I didn't. Well, yeah. That's why I'm excited about the potential of sequels and maybe him switching up his accent in each one. I think that's funny if he does that, but I wasn't really feeling the rest of it.
That's fair.
But I was saying that was an original thing, and maybe it got its green. Maybe it was able to take that hold because of the fact that the person who did it was also connected to Star Wars. So, I mean,
yeah.
Oh my God, guys! More news on this VOD stuff just popped up literally 15 minutes ago.
Finally,
Birds of Prey. I know,
finally,
right?
we have something
great. Yeah.
Birds.
They're going on 3/24.
So that's Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
that may also help a narrative shift, because if a lot of people start streaming it, it can change the narrative of, oh no, everyone was seeing it, so maybe it's the cinema's fault for making it so high priced and blah blah blah.
Yeah. That was one that failed with its 35 million in February. What?
I'm a little frustrated. It still hasn't crossed the 200 million line. It's sitting at 199 million and change. I'm like, come on, just hit 200.
But this is the first time we've had a traditional calendar year. I mean, you think about 2019. Speaking of Disneyfied, they shot their load every other month. It was some fucking Toy Story 4. You had Toy Story 4 the same years you had Frozen 2, as Star Wars, as Lion King, and Aladdin. They just kept throwing out these major
and Endgame. You forgot.
Oh yeah, that little Avengers movie. They just didn't quit. They would, I don't know, somebody lost a bet or something that they had to get something done in 2019, and it was just,
well, Bob Iger just stepped down, right? I wonder if he was like, okay, I want all these out before I retire, I
want to go out with the biggest year in Disney history or something I mean, that makes sense. But what we have now is, this is what the calendar year used to look like before everything got so silly. Movies, make $30 million in February. That's what used to happen. It's just,
we need to be accepting of middling movies again, and not just expect everything to make $500 million.
I used to say it's February good, and people never understood what that meant. like Taken was always February good. Would you really want to go out and see it in July? No, but if there's nothing else new in mid-February, Taken's a nice little movie to go.
It's a nice little movie about a girl getting kidnapped and her father murdering half of Europe to get her back. It's a family movie.
And then again.
Taken again, yeah.
Really, he's a terrible dad until something horrible happens to his family, and then he's amazing.
He's got a very.
And then he did that movie that was like Taken, but on an airplane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then on a
train.
Liam
Neeson in a tube. There was a couple of those. I like the one where he was Liam Neeson's just become a punchline. There was that one that I actually liked where he was actually a drunk in the movie, but he was still a badass. He was
Wait, which movie?
Was it Run?
Was that the Frozen one where he's like a snowplow driver
Cold
or something?
Pursuit. That was weird. No, Run All Night. That's what it's called. Where he's like a fuck up, but he's still a badass for some reason.
Oh, is that the one where his son, something happens to his son? His son gets like murdered or something. It's Liam Neeson, right?
Yeah.
I like that one with the wolves. That's my
The Gray.
I watched that.
The Gray.
Yeah.
I watched that. So
Yeah.
many times. I love it.
Yeah, that's
man.
that's like
yeah.
April good.
Yeah. I saw it on Netflix, so that's how I discovered it. So I know I didn't watch it in the theater.
I just love how like if you stay for the end credits, you just get those extra like 3 seconds of footage, and they just like it also completely changes how you feel. It's so good. Like
Well, in the Gray.
in the Gray, yeah, because it's like, oh wait, so what happens? And then you kind of sort of get an answer, but not really, and it's like, I like it a lot. It's a very good movie.
So we've had some news on top of the craziness that was Hollywood reacting. We've got some people that we know and love that are affected by this COVID-19 thing. First, it was Tom Hanks, who was in Australia filming
something.
The Elvis story, I think.
Oh,
yeah, it was Elvis biopic.
Yeah.
Wait, is he playing Elvis or is he like his producer?
I don't think he's playing Elvis.
Because that would be a horrible casting, but I would watch the hell out of
Yeah,
that.
it would. Yeah.
See Tom Hanks do it.
Yeah, Elvis died at 40-something, and Tom Hanks is far north of 40-something.
He slapped some makeup on him. I like it.
And just today, Idris Elba released a video to Twitter where it kind of hurt. It was shocking.
There was a gut punch.
Yeah, he seems okay, but like I don't know. Like we're gonna find out because that's a name that people follow. We're gonna find out what.
Yeah, I mean.
Go.
I was so
no.
sad.
Yeah.
Like it was so. I was just like, can we start 2020 over? It's Idris.
Yeah.
No, I think what trended afterward was no Idris.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, everyone else was just like, no Idris, not Idris.
Yeah.
Please God, why Idris?
Yeah.
You know.
The perfect human being. How dare he get it?
Like, how? But I think it also just shows because there's been this level of, I don't know, I don't want to call it American exceptionalism or anything, but maybe in terms of like just this denial of this is unprecedented. Like we haven't been in this moment for our generations for the past in a minute. I think the closest was like maybe World War II or something, like the whole lockdown, something like that.
Maybe the 1930s where they had the recession, depression, when money was an absolute
the re-depression.
Yeah, and so I feel like if anything, I thought it was very brave that he came on and said it, because what he made sure to point out is that he had no symptoms.
Yeah.
And what was happening over the weekend was that, a new, showings had come out saying that people who don't have symptoms can actually be the ones that can be spreading it the most.
Yeah.
Because, people are paying attention to whether or not they have a fever or whether, which I think the fever is the main thing of it. And a few other symptoms. And the cough and the fever. And since people don't think they have that, they're just like, oh, I'm fine. And then it comes out that you can have it without symptoms because you can be a carrier for it. And I thought it was really great that he came out to pay attention, to say, I had this, and mainly because of contact with someone who was, and there's been a few who it's been known they've had contact directly with some people, and now they're claiming that they don't have it, or they took a test, or we saw a letter that they took a test, and it's hard to believe that they don't have it. But
I mean, it's like what they say. The people that are most in danger with this are seniors and people who have some sort of immune. I've seen cancer is listed up. They're at serious risk. But some people.
Immune deficiency.
Yeah, immune deficiency. Thank you. There are people that could be all right with this. Our bodies are different. Everything's different. To use a terrible analogy, it's just like some people can eat nuts and some people will die if you touch them with a nut. So some people can handle it, some people can't, and unfortunately. We're gonna have to be locked down until this thing goes away, or we get a cure or whatever.
Yeah, and it might take a minute to get a vaccine. I know there's this question of like certain, like a German scientist and whatnot, and getting things and just various stuff. But I think like with Idris, it just shows that, and with Tom Hanks the other week, it just shows no one is immune. And I will say it does point to the fact that certain people are able to get testing and some people are still waiting to be tested. There's people who actually show symptoms that are trying to go to the doctors and stuff to get tested and they can't get testing, yet people with a good amount of money and prestige can. So
or if you're in another country. Yeah.
Yeah, or in another country. Yeah, because Idris, I think he's over in the UK right now. I think that's where his home is. And like Tom Hanks was in Australia. So yeah, it's definitely, I think this is going to change the landscape for a while. Also in, production and things. I know things here and, are just at a halt. I have a lot of friends who a lot of the productions they were on just got postponed to who knows what date.
It's weird. I mean, for how many zombie movies, how many 28 Days Later have we seen where like, when you watch the movie, you're like 2 weeks into just absolute nuts, chaos, whatever. It's weird to experience what would technically be like 6 months before the events of movie, and it feels strange, and at the same time when you take a minute you're like, oh wow, hold on. This is like the prequel to insert crazy zombie movie here. Like it's kind of scary, it's kind of nuts, but we're all being quarantined for a reason. Well, not exactly quarantined just yet, but they're advising people just relax and stay home. And
you guys remember the movie Contagion?
Yes.
Soderbergh?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone keeps bringing because that was the thing with the pig, right? The pig ate the bat.
It was a bat ate a banana but dropped the banana and the pig ate the thing and then that started the whole thing. Yeah, so it was. I've been wanting to watch that movie again, man, but I'm terrified. I love the hell out of it, but I'm too scared to watch it right now.
I did watch The Stand. The whole entire thing on Saturday, all day. I sat there watching all of The Stand because I hadn't seen it in years, and I did enjoy it when I watched it. Although I can't finish the book for some reason, because of just the way he writes sometimes with certain things. But it was funny because on Twitter someone tried to say this is like Stand, and Stephen King actually said, he's like, this is nothing like The Stand. You guys stop comparing this to The Stand. This is not like The Stand. And I don't know if he was just doing that to calm people down, but I was like, well, it's a little bit like just the idea of depending on which viewpoint you think, like the haphazardness of the government in response and things of that nature. So definitely some aspects of it.
Yeah.
A little more personal in the D&D group that I run the campaign. I did introduce kind of a plague element. Now I'm like, I think I need to get rid of this. It's getting a little too real, guys. I think we need to just abandon that storyline.
It's weird. Some people overreact and some people I think aren't properly respecting it. Like it's funny, there was a guy on the Utah Jazz, a basketball player who made a joke of it and he touched all the microphones and he spread germs, and it turns out that he now has it. Same thing, Congressman Matt Gaetz, who
oh God, fuck that guy.
Yeah, no, he's
sorry language.
Yeah, no. He is like, he gets off on being a cunt, and so he wore like this great big, like fucking World War II gas mask, and now he has it. So like, hey, stop disrespecting this, because it's kind of a big deal. It's not the end of the world yet, but people say things like 3% isn't that big a deal, but the flu is 0.1%. So it's worse than the Spanish influenza, I think, is what they said. And we're only a month in. We're a month in.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that just isolating ourselves, couple months go by, everyone's gonna be broke as hell. No one's gonna be eating anything other than
already
rice
broke,
and,
so whatever.
Ice chips. no, but like it'll come and go, and not that many people die. That's also a possibility. Sure. We'll just have to be miserable for a while. But that's the price of not lots of people dying, is us just being miserable for a while. We just kind of need to accept that. And oh my god, why are you even talking about this, guys? It's so
depressing. Oh, right. Yeah, we're not.
Well, I was just saying it more so for the, like what we were saying, like with the industry, the entertainment industry, period. I mean, you had it so that like the last day for Disney World, because they closed down Disneyland, and then last day at Disney World, you have pictures of everyone, huge crowds waving to Mickey because it's the last night. Like the virus is gonna like wait, you know, like I gotta let this last night happen at Disney World first.
We negotiated with COVID-19. It's not gonna enter Disney World until tomorrow.
Everyone can just like congregate for this one night, guys, one night, because Disney controls everything, including that.
You can't die at Disney World, so I'm pretty sure you can't get sick at Disney World.
Place on Earth, right?
Wait, isn't that actually a thing? They refuse to let.
They won't let you pronounce anybody dead on their premises, which is just stupid. So like how much do you have to pay the coroner to? Like that's insane. Right? I'm a scientist. This guy's been shot in the face. He died in your park. I'm sorry. No.
Like Snow White, the deep sleep.
Yeah.
Like not Snow White. Whoever that Sleeping Beauty.
Get that heart beating, and then once you get to the parking lot, then you can call him dead. But
sing to them like Ariel.
Oh, that's so disgustingly corporate. I love it.
I swear.
But on the subject of business stuff, I just wanted to say before, because we get too far away from it, I keep saying that Fantastic Beasts 3 isn't happening, and they've canceled production on it again. So
yay!
Yeah, no, I mean, people lost work. That's depressing, and there's people that like that franchise who aren't going to get a movie now, or at least not until much later, and that is also sad. But it makes me. I a long time ago said that movie's not happening, and it keeps not happening. So
I tell you what, there's another thing too where this could be. I mean, we talk about, this is a weird moment, but if Roger in the chat before said it earlier, it's a good time to start figuring out if you can handle subtitles, because there's a lot of good stuff that I'm telling you as somebody who's experienced it myself. Parasite. When I watched Parasite, it opened my eyes to Korean cinema is really, really good, especially with the thrillers I've been watching. And I'm not saying exclusively for foreign language films. This is a time where somebody who has an indie film that maybe got a little bit of buzz or something can kind of take advantage. We're all in the same playing field now as far as filmmakers. Like, nobody's going to theaters right now. You can't release something in the theater. If you can compete with Disney when it comes to releasing something to VOD, all right, now's your chance. Show us what you got.
Yeah.
Show us what you got.
I like what you got. So it's kind of like I hope like through all this bullshit, I hope we find somebody who just so happened to make a movie that they finished 2 years ago, but. I don't know. It'd be nice to have a nice little happy story that somebody gets discovered through all this.
Like people catch on to something that they wouldn't have watched any other way.
Like now's a good time to do that deep dive on Disney Plus series to things that nobody ever remembers and reviewing things that people haven't watched in 33 years. Guys, let's get on that.
I've been doing that. Yeah, so I don't know what the official status is for us. Like, there's no releases this week. It's funny.
Is there nothing at all? I thought was there like some small
theaters are closed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is it everywhere? Or is it just
I would think it's everywhere.
I missed that. I thought
can
it was
check.
Los Angeles.
No, it's Los Angeles. Today, the Bay Area added to it. New York for sure. Jersey has done it and enforced a curfew.
Yeah, by Friday, we'll probably. I mean, New York's we're in bad shape as far as numbers is concerned.
DC has done the same. The major cities. I don't know what the Midwest and stuff is doing necessarily.
AMC Theater strongly commits to social distancing by proactively reducing maximum seating capacity to at least 50%. Yeah, so they're limiting capacity, enhancing their cleaning. So theaters will be open, but
okay. Probably bleaching the seats in between.
Yeah. So for as much as I said, now's the time for somebody with a little indie film to jump out and shine, the counter to that is, do you want to put your $50 million movie into a theater that can only sell out half its building right now?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't. It was supposed to be Quiet Place 2 this week, right? Or next week.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody was competing with Quiet Place 2. So I made the mistake of putting that song "Welcome Back, My Friends" to the show that never ends. But guys, this could be it. this weekly show could be over.
I mean,
I'm kidding. We'll talk about time to catch up with Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, all that other stuff. Chauncey's cat. There's other stuff to talk about. It's just we'll have to figure out. I mean, you had a good idea, Lindsey, about talking about the past, and as far as being a math nerd is concerned, I really dig that. Looking at our numbers, February good. Looking at the numbers from now and what other years does this relate to, and maybe we could project the future. Although I think this week's going to be really bad. I don't.
It's a shame that the streaming services don't necessarily release their exact numbers of how many people watch it each week when something new comes out.
I would love to have those.
Good to explore, but they keep that very under wraps for their reasons. But
I think what when you talk about Netflix being at a loss, I think there's a reason they don't let us know how many people are watching their stuff, because I think they have to show losses,
right?
To
some extent,
yeah, it's a lot like movies. What was it? James Cameron famously said that he didn't make money on Titanic, which, okay, buddy. Yeah, if you say so. So I get it. Somebody who just did his taxes. You try to look. I bought all this paper, so I have to have a refund. There's no way. So it would be interesting to know what Netflix's numbers are, because if they're that much in the red and in debt, what the fuck are they scooping up all this extra property and making new movies and all this? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's where's the money coming from, and necessarily.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of thing with a lot of these streaming services, in particular, when a lot of them were joining in on it. I mean, some of them had the backing of, of course, their companies already. But even what is it, Shudder? I think what they're doing with some of that now, they're putting some of their stuff on AMC too. Kind of because it's, I don't know. I don't want to say much, but I mean.
Well, did you guys hear about the thing where Netflix changed their you only have to watch 30 seconds of something before it counts as a view?
Oh.
Even if it's an hour-long movie or something like that.
That's Facebook, YouTube trend.
Yeah, can we get that working on YouTube videos? Because shit.
Right?
That's bullshit, man. What was I going to say? Shit, I was going to say something.
Well, I was just saying, the other streaming services, I mean, it's a question of how do they make money? And that's what I was genuine, because I don't know. I don't know how Netflix makes money.
Yeah, it's weird. Netflix doesn't have money yet has really great content. Amazon has all the money in the world, and their Prime sucks.
It's just an add-on.
Yeah,
their Prime is
add-on. It's shit. They never have anything worth watching on that damn whatever. Yeah, it's hey, here's free shipping. Also, we happen to have Home Alone 2 and this weird documentary about JFK if you want to watch that. Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, wait. Hold on. Guys, they had Loquisha, okay?
For free! That's right.
Cinema.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Cinema. Yeah.
Cinema.
I think they're they pay attention though. They're very opportunistic because as soon as, of course, but as soon as like the Candyman trailer came out, they actually had a whole bunch. They were highlighting the fact that they had the Candyman there. And when Dolomite Is My Name came out, they had the original Dolomite movie on there for free.
Yeah, that's pretty stealthy.
They pay attention.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Instead of being reactive, you can be the opposite of reactive. Proactive. Yeah. Why? I think I'm getting sick.
But it's the thing with these streaming things where some of them are add-ons. The same thing with CBS All Access. People question how beneficial that is when you put something up behind a paywall and like when did you get more ratings, because we all know, I mean, there's a certain age group that just leaves it on CBS. I know my father's one of those people. He just leaves it on. You watch anything that comes on SWAT and all of it, and it's like, so why put some of this stuff up behind a paywall? Who are you necessarily competing against? So I think it's a weird kind. I mean, I think just like Wall Street, it's mysterious for a reason. They don't want necessarily outsiders to know how. Because the speculation almost just like Wall Street, so it's kind of, I feel like Netflix and a lot of them are very much kind of on that same model. So you kind of wonder what and I do think with Netflix, they are trying to get to be their own studio in a way. Like they started off doing other properties and now they're more and more trying to phase out that and you get more and more original content. There's even it's probably canceled now, but that Netflix comedy festival that they were going to have.
Yeah.
Where they were trying to get all the comedians and stuff like that to come out sponsored by Netflix. But yeah, we're seeing, I mean, I think this is just this whole thing with the virus is probably like streamrolling a lot of them to kind of try to figure out what's the next step for cinema in general. Yeah,
it's interesting. This is going to be a fascinating time for a myriad of reasons, but as far as this show is concerned, as far as what we cover is concerned, we're gonna learn some shit over the next couple of weeks. I mean, this weekend, and that's the other thing too. I would love to have VOD statistics because what if Invisible Man does the equivalent to 40 million this weekend? What if Birds of Prey does better than it has in one day or something like that? These are, I need stats.
Well, what I'm interested is how if I don't even know do they have Netflix in China? Is that a thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if they, or I guess whatever streaming service it ends up being on, because I want to know what the streaming numbers in China for Birds of Prey would be, because it didn't get released there at all. So I wonder how that would have bumped up the box office if it did get a release there.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I was in Denmark, they had Netflix, and it's weird. So there's not, so the studios don't have the same distribution agreements that they do here. I remember Annihilation came out 2 weeks after it was released here. Who knows what's going to get released internationally now that there's not maybe A Quiet Place is going to be out in Europe next week. There's no restrictions now with when it comes to North America, the distribution laws are pretty sticky, but when it comes to Europe, it's different. They have different distributors. So, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
It's not like Europe can go to the movies. Oh no, Netflix.
No.
Netflix. It's still Netflix. So who? Interesting times we live in.
Yeah, the world is gonna not be the same in 2021. Whenever, and that's not even counting the election that's happening later this year. It's gonna be a very different place. But here on Show Business, we'll be with you in one way, shape, or form.
With our old white guy president. We're definitely going to have that.
I guess, no matter what happens, that's kind of what the outcome's going to be.
Unless somebody else pops up as an independent, we have 3 old white guys. That's.
And then Tulsi Gabbard. So.
Oh, yeah, she's got 2 delegates, right?
Cool. Variety is the spice of politics.
So I think we're pretty well wrapped up for tonight. So
I got to my take on Fantastic Beasts. I'm
yeah,
good. That's all I cared about.
So we'll probably. I'm assuming that nothing major is going to happen in the next week, and the next episode of Show Business is going to be some sort of fun, something different. I would like to get people to. I just want to try it, especially if we're at this stage. I'd like to see if we can get this streaming over on my Twitch channel, because the quality is a bit better over there. Just to see how it goes. Maybe we'll.
This is the time to try.
Right, exactly. Maybe we can like, who knows how long this is going to be, but maybe we can with the newfound power of VOD, maybe we could set something up where we do a commentary.
I want to be on VOD.
Yeah, I mean, we're together for an hour and a half anyway. Why not?
That's a movie.
Yeah, why not throw on something and that'll be our commentary will be one thing, and the next week we could talk about it. And I don't know.
That'd be fun, actually. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
So, Chauncey, what do you have coming up or recently done or?
I just launched this thing with. I'm doing a partnership with the website Redbubble, where people can get different kinds of products and things that are unique and have over 700,000 artists. So people can check out on my Instagram some recent posts that I've done that kind of highlight the products and things that they have. It's Miss Chauncey K on Instagram. People can check that out. Also, most likely tomorrow or Wednesday, there will be a review of the Hulu docuseries Hillary that I am currently working through, which is very interesting. Love her or hate her. It's about Hillary Clinton and the political terrain she's had to deal with as a very visible, highly visible political woman. So.
Oh, I watched. I binged that McDonald's Monopoly thing. It's really fascinating. How
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, a bunch of people screwed over the Monopoly game at McDonald's, and it was 6 episodes, and it's fascinating how they got away with the things they got away with. And I don't know if that counts as a movie, but you bringing up Hulu reminded me that I just steamrolled through an HBO.
Well, I thought that was the thing that like the Broadway or the Park Place piece doesn't actually ever appear anywhere. Is that not true?
No.
For the okay.
The person who robbed, well, spoiler, the person who robbed robbed the company or cheated worked for the security place that did the printing. So he was just pocketing the.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
so McDonald's had a third party making up these coupons and shit, and this guy was in charge of that, and he was just pocketing millions, $250 free car, and he had to make sure that people that didn't have his last name were winning. So it was like, all right, get your cousin's husband, get this, and it's just really fascinating that they got nervous and they were like the mob at some point. They wanted to make sure that they had people of every color, every race, every sex. So they were like making deals with people like, listen, we'll give you $100,000 Monopoly card, but you got to give us 50. And people were doing it. Like it. Yeah. It's really, really fascinating how greedy they got. Like, shit, if you give me $1 million, I could probably make that work for a bit. Probably.
Yeah. But they wanted more.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, that's funny.
Lindsey, I'm sorry. What about?
No, that's a great segue. I mean, I've been wanting to check out the Hillary documentary, so I'll check that out and you review Chauncey. But that movie sounds insane. I definitely want to check that out.
I don't think it's a movie. I think it's.
I got 2 things.
I think it's technically a miniseries.
Series,
yeah,
right?
Millions or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's probably Millions.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I'm watching right now is Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. So like, you gotta give me content to consume, guys. I need it. But on the other hand, I did make a video about Birds of Prey. It should have been out weeks ago. It would have had much more impact, but I wanted to get it out, and I did it, and it's out. And I hope people like it. I had fun with it.
My 2 cents of nonsense is the channel.
Yes.
Go show support. Tell them you love it. Share it.
Or if you hate it, tell me that too. Don't lie.
Constructive criticism always helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have a better idea in 7 days what the future is for this show, what we're going to do as far as reporting entertainment. We might lean further away from the business side and just be a little topical, like Chauncey brought up. We can cover VOD stuff, because that might be the new it thing for a while. So stay tuned, guys. You're stuck at home anyway, so why not?
Oh.
Yeah, come on. Just turn on the computer. So yeah, keep an eye out. I have a couple of things. If my downstairs neighbors would stop being so loud, I could film the things I had planned. But
Bastards.
Yeah. So just keep track of all of us, and unfortunately, Fuego, you can kind of figure that stuff happened. His audio was in a bad way, but I'm sure he wanted to be here, and
if there's anything we can, if you see this Fuego, if we can help in any way, let us know, dude.
Yeah.
And we'll talk offline too, obviously.
Let's all chip in and get more bandwidth for Fuego.
I'll send him some of mine.
He could use some of mine. Shit, I have way too much, I think. Okay, so for Fuego, Lindsey, and Chauncey, I have been CP. Last words for the week, guys. What?
Stay home.
Stay home. Stay home and come back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't touch
I just got a weird
touch
text.
people.
Sorry, I got distracted.